Hello, lovelies. Cory here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I have my November witchy favorites for you. Now, I know that I'm a bit late on uploading this, but I wanted to share with you that I didn't really have a lot of tangible favorites this month. Mostly, it's jewelry. It's just crystals that I wore. There's some oils, obviously, and just a couple other miscellaneous things. But for the most part, November for me was about teaching and about learning myself and really getting back into the groove of being a student and being able to pull that information down and really just kind of get in that mindset. I took a shamanism class. And I have been exposed to shamanic practices before, but incorporated into elements of Wicca or another pagan-driven class, and not so much just on shamanism itself. This was the first time I was taking a class like that, and it was pretty phenomenal. So I will link the page to this wonderful instructor. Her name is Sarah Petruno. Found her on Instagram, have been following her. She happens to be also a Young Living oil consultant, so a fellow oil slinger, but from across the way with a different company. But she is a shamanic practitioner and teacher and just all around wonderful woman and coach. So I highly, highly recommend taking a class from her if you can. Her intro shamanism class was fantastic. But that's not something I can show you on screen. So let's dive into things that I can show you on screen. The first is not going to be any surprise to you guys because I did a series on this on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you're really missing out on all the really good juicy stuff. So the doTERRA yoga collection. This is my life. I swear if you only buy one thing from doTERRA, you need to buy this collection. Like, it is life if you have a spiritual practice. And that's what my posts were about. I know that this collection was created for yoga practices. However, my posts on each of the 3 oils that are included had to do with how to incorporate those oils, or one way, because there are multiple ways, but one way that you can incorporate these oils into your spiritual practice, because that's my main focus, obviously. So the first one is Anchor. That's just what it says, you guys. Amazing, amazing grounding blend right here. And then we've got a line. And this one is going to bring you back into focus and get you connected. And then we have a Rise, which, as a divination practitioner, really activating that third eye chakra, you guys. This one right here. And really connecting all of them and getting you centered and connected to your higher self. Because ultimately, that's what we would like to do. So I love this so much that I bought another one. And you're going to see me unbox that here with my December LRP order unboxing. But those 3 were top on my list and not far from me. I always had them in my purse throughout November. Another one, surprisingly, that I carried with me throughout the month of November is Arborvitae. Now, this is from a tree that resides in the Northern Pacific. Now, I don't know how to describe this to you guys. Okay, so this smells like the lumber section at Home Depot. Right? I know that's a weird way to describe it, but I love it. Whenever we go to Home Depot, I walk away from my husband because he knows exactly what he wants to get, unless we're going there for a project for me, in which case, I'm navigating. But for the most part, he'll go grab whatever it is that he needs to grab, and then I make a beeline for the lumberyard, and I just like troll the aisles. I know that sounds crazy, but I love this smell. That deep, woodsy, sappy tree smell. And that's this stuff right here. And so one other thing quickly that I want to share with you guys, because I want to read from it for you for a second. Another favorite of mine this month, or last month, that I used over and over again in November and was referring to a lot, is the Emotions and Essential Oils reference. This is the 5th edition. I believe they do have the 6th edition out now, because this one came out fall 2016, so fall of last year. And it lists doTERRA's blends and the major essential oils and how they can work for you on an emotional support level. Okay, so Arbor Vitae, we have the Oil of Divine Grace. And I apologize if I'm butchering, the name of this oil. That's just how I'm assuming it's pronounced. But it's a grounding oil, and the Latin name means to sacrifice. And really what I get from this oil isn't so much giving up something, like sacrificing something really sacred to you. What I'm getting from it is releasing something that you happen to be holding on, that you just need to let go. Just let go of that control and just release it. And for me, November and winter time is just the months to release and let go. Which is partially why I kind of feel like Christmas holiday should be like around a harvest holiday, if that makes sense. Because now I just get a whole bunch of stuff and I'm like, I just purged. I don't want any more crap. And that's not to, be sacrilegious or anything. Really, it's just to say that obviously, we're in a giving mood. We want to gift away. But accumulating more things goes against at least my intuitive instincts as far as winter goes. And these months of winding down and letting go, at least in the Wiccan tradition, the god has passed over. He's descended into the underworld during Samhain. It's a little bit of a mournful time at that point. And then, as we come up to Yule, the very, very pregnant goddess is giving birth to his renewed self in the form of, this sun god being reborn and renewed. So we have that sense of really just shedding the old, and this little oil really helps with that. And that's Arbor Vitae. Gorgeous little oil. It just smells freaking amazing. But again, when I feel like I'm just struggling to hold on to everything, even if it's not for my greatest good, this stuff really seems to help with that release. So I have been using that quite a bit, so I can just shed and let things go. 2 more oils that I want to share with you guys. Jasmine. Ain't got no spiritual reason. I just like the way it smells. I'll never get over that. That and rose. And then this one, oh my gosh. This one is freaking amazing as well. It smells wonderful. It has osmanthus in it, which is, if you guys have smelled Elevation Blend, it's very similar to Beautiful, but Beautiful is a lot more subtle. So it's an amazing, like, you can roll it on yourself. It's an everyday scent. You can trade this out for like perfume. Oh, it just smells freaking amazing. I love it. I bought extras of that too. Of course I did. Of course I did. Okay, now, as far as the jewelry goes, November was a month for finding shit that I thought I'd lost. I just put that out there right now. So this guy is missing from my pendulums collection video that I recorded because he just went on a walkabout. It's when something disappears on you to go do something else, and then it just shows back up and is like, hey, we're on vacation. So this guy right here, and you've probably seen him on my Instagram account, again, if you follow me. And he's just a wooden scarab bead. It's a pendulum, and we've got a little diffuser bead up here. But he is one of my most used and beloved pendulums. And as I was writing my pendulum course over the summer, went to Hawaii, came back, went to record all those videos, and this guy was freaking gone. And I had a absolute meltdown. I was like, well, where is this freaking thing? Which was fine because it forced me to create a new pendulum on camera. And the video for how to make a pendulum is actually in part of the curriculum of my pendulum practitioner course. So that was really helpful. And it forced me to use that pendulum throughout the course, which was an amazing experience. I really did bond with that pendulum. And then just in the middle of November, this one came back. And I was like, you left me high and dry. But he's back and hasn't been far from my side since. And I've only been using him for half of the month of November, but it was such like a profound, thank God he's back, I missed you, that I really had to mention it in this video. Another thing that I found recently in the last weeks of November is this guy. Now, I have a ton of carnelian. It's one of my favorite crystals. It's an amazing energy crystal. It keeps your spirits up. It supports happy, vibrant vibes. It promotes creativity. It helps balance your sacral chakra. It's fantastic for passion. It's just a really great crystal. It also cleanses and charges all of your tarot decks. It's one of those crystals like citrine that doesn't need cleansing. It's a self-cleanser as far as energy is concerned. So I have a lot of carnelian in my house, but I bought this gorgeous little palm stone at a gem fair. And this camera is just like not doing this guy justice right here. But I bought this gorgeous thing, and it has all of these different layers. It's a gorgeous little piece of carnelian, and the little shapes in there are stunning, at least in person. Like I said, my webcam's not doing it justice at the moment, but it is stunning. And I've worked with it quite a lot in meditation, and it disappeared on me as well, and uncovered it very close to the place where the pendulum was. So they've obviously been having a powwow without me. So, but it's all right because I got them back. Now, oh my, the next few things that I want to talk to you about are from different local shops here. So some of you may know that the first mala that I purchased was from Love, Light, and Legacy. Both of my malas are from Love, Light, and Legacy. But I bought, the first mala that I ever purchased was this one. And she is this gorgeous custom-made mala from Devin over at Love, Light, and Legacy. And Devin did a fantastic job. I love her to pieces. There's moonstone in here, moss agate, unakite, rose quartz, and of course we've got this little gold tassel right here, and then a gorgeous little resin pregnant goddess mama from Brigid's Grove. And so she put all of this together for me, and I just absolutely was in love. And I wore it during the entire last pregnancy that I had as a surrogate. Gave birth in February. Little girl's doing well, by the way. Her daddies absolutely adore her, and she's smiling in every single photograph they send me. I don't know how a baby could be that happy, but she is freaking happy, which is amazing, obviously. And her dads deserve a really happy baby. She's really lucky to have them. So I'm probably going to be wearing this one again for the next surrogacy journey that I do. But when I'm not doing a surrogacy journey, when I'm not pregnant, as in right now, I haven't been resonating with it. So I troll Devin's feed, looking at all of her lovely, gorgeous malas, and I saw this one and I freaked out. She probably had it posted for like 3 minutes, and I messaged her. I was like, Devin, I need that mala. And she's like, okay, it's yours. And it's this gorgeous one right here. Again, webcam can't do this justice. So we've got little sandstone beads. We also have red jasper right down here. And we do have some lovely blue kyanite here in the center. But all of these gorgeous blue-brown beads right here are blue sandalwood. And this thing just freaking oozes earth magic. And so I had to have her. She is my colors. She is my colors. So this is my newest baby. And I'll probably, again, be wearing her and working with her all the way up until, you know, I do the transfer. I'll be taking this one with me to the transfer, help get the mojo going. But in the meantime, it's going to be me in this one. Now, I do also have a matching diffuser bracelet for my mala over here, somewhat matching. So we've got faceted unakite, we've got rose quartz, and then over here we have garnet, okay, for passion and healing, especially postpartum, and then malachite, which is considered the stone of midwifery, and then a yummy little diffuser bead right here. I've been wearing all of my crystals, in case you couldn't tell. So I do have 2 bracelets that I've been wearing nonstop to represent my matron and patron deities. And those are Persephone and Freyr. And so for me, garnet is what resonates the most with Persephone, especially during this time of the year when she's, you know, got her Queen of the Underworld phase going on. So I've been wearing this along with this lovely little citrine chip bracelet for Freyr, because citrine is considered the merchant stone and really associated with abundance, which is what Freyr is associated with. For me, this crystal really resonates with him and his energy. So these two combined are kind of my god and goddess bracelets. And then in between them, I've been wearing this hematite bracelet for additional grounding. Now, we were talking a little bit about Brigid's Grove with that little pregnant goddess that is sitting on top of my mala here, my tassel, but what has been really like working with me so far is it's my little pentacle on my necklace. I have been wearing this lovely lady right here. Now, this is a little goddess figurine, a pendant, again, made by Brigid's Grove. And this was part of the deepening ceremony package that I purchased from Brigid's Grove a few months ago. And I just really started wearing her in the month of November and have been continuously wearing her. In another package that I ordered, I got this little gorgeous blue Triskel goddess, which is really funny because my coven and I just did a full moon ritual yesterday with Brigid. Really resonates with the Triskel. I mean, she's Celtic triple goddess of poetry, smithery, and midwifery. And because of the full moon, its association with water, we also had water in our ritual. We were washing something away. The blue of this just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of sang to me. So I'll probably be wearing her a little bit more on and off this week. But as I was wearing her during November, I was like, there's something here, some connection. And ironically enough, the connection came up yesterday. Now, this lovely lady I haven't worn yet, but I will be wearing her very, very soon, especially as I build more courses for you guys. So this lovely lady just came, and I have to show you this too. It's kind of perfect. I asked Mark and Molly to create for me a custom story goddess that fit Wilder Woman. So I described to them what I was looking at, and oh my God, look at her. So she is green with silver sparkles. Absolutely gorgeous. She's a little bit more foresty green in person, but the light from the candles are kind of throwing her off a little bit. But we've got this little tarot card here for divination. We have this little charm here that says create, and then we have the cauldron here for all of the womany womb magic that happens over here at Wilder Woman. This cauldron of creation. And so she's just absolutely perfect. They couldn't have done a better job. They really nailed her. This is what I think of when I think of Wilder Woman. And so with her, this little surprise, I got this lovely little pendant. This little drum womb goddess of creation and magic and shamanism. And she too is green with silver sparkles, which completely resonates with me in the work that I'm doing right now and teaching. And you guys can't see it, it's in the corner, but I have my drum out because I want to start drumming in circle again. And so this all just came at the perfect time. It's like they can tap into my brain. They've been really good at being able to just pick out what I need. So we'll be switching out between those three here very shortly. And I do want to share with you guys as well, not just because her last name is my maiden name, but Sarah Wilder of the fifth element life? The element life? The fifth element life. Yes. What is wrong with me today? I'm getting a little loopy, guys. Mercury's in retrograde. I would be surprised if this video actually records. We'll see. But I have two lovely silver mala rings from Sarah. And I have this nurture ring, nurture mandala ring right here. And again, wore this quite a bit during my pregnancies. But during the month of November, I was about to say this month again, during the month of November, I wore this one a ton. And this is the magnetism mala. And it's more for attracting to you for manifestation work and things like that. So this one I've been wearing pretty much nonstop the past month. As far as tarot decks and oracle decks go, don't hate me. I only have one. But I legit was working pretty much with pendulums all through the month of November, with readings, with business, other business aspects at home as well. So this was the only deck that I was using, and it was primarily for daily draws, and that is the Bad Bitches Tarot by Ethne Dawn. And I did a walkthrough on this lovely gem, and I know she's been in past favorite videos, but she is stunning. And if you do not have this deck, you're seriously missing out, because look at all that fabulousness. The Eight of Cups. So much love for this deck. And all of the lovely women and characters in it. Look at that cape. So you can't blame me. But I've got 5 decks on my altar right now that have been there since after Samhain, maybe 2 days after Samhain. And she was the only one that I used. Go figure. But I do use a pendulum to tell me, you know, give me an idea of which deck's energy I'm going to be able to read the easiest or resonate with the most before I even do a draw. And consistently my pendulum was like, this one, this one, this one. I stopped asking. Just put it that way. Now, do have a couple of books to share with you guys. One thing that I wanted to mention, only because not necessarily about favorites, but just talking about our sacred texts in general, and our Book of Shadows and our Book of Mirrors, however you want to refer to your book, your grimoire. This is one of mine. And it's one I've primarily used in 2015, and I've been slowly filling more pages in it, but I'm going to show you something about this book. That is a sad state of a grimoire. I'm sorry I'm laughing a lot in this video, but you guys, I just kind of have to laugh because November, aside from all this juiciness and aside from my absolutely fantastic husband and children who kept me from going crazy and my lovely coworkers, dude, like I could have really just done without November. Every time I went on Twitter, I got really angry with the world around me. So at this point, I'm like, fuck it. Just fuck it. So I hope that you'll join me in laughing through December and just letting things be what they are, not giving up the fight, obviously, but, you know, that old serenity prayer of I, you know, accept the things I cannot change, because there were a lot of things I couldn't change about November. I'm just laugh it out and let it go. And this is one of those things, busted grimoire. So I'll be looking for a new, I would like to keep it hardcover. I mean, I really loved this thing. I loved the parchment paper. There are a lot of things about this book that I really loved. So finding a replacement, it's going to be hard. Copying a lot of these spells over is going to be a pain in the ass. But you know what? We're going to work through it. And it's going to come out even better than ever, right? So books, journals have been on my mind, and I have been on the hunt all November. Still haven't found anything, but still searching. So maybe in the December favorites video, you guys will see the journal I actually picked out for my new grimoire. We'll see. This one, So this isn't something that I read this years ago. Just preface that. It's a book that I've had for a really long time. I've probably had it since I was about, oh my, 16 or 17? Let's see. When was this published? This was published. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, okay, even less than that. First edition of the 5th printing, 2005. So, I was, how old was I? 20. Really? Okay. Thought I'd had it longer. But apparently picked this up when I was 20, and it's either way, it's been with me for a really long time. 2005, that's 12 years, guys. So I've had it for a while. It's warped from having tea spilled on it and things like that. And really, it's a fantastic book. This is Magic of the Celtic Otherworld. And I'm pulling it out because I haven't read it in a hot minute. It's been several years. So I've pulled it out. I'm rereading it through the month of December, but started in November, about yay far in. And it's this time around, I'm actually writing notes in the margin because it's already warped, and why not? At the time, I would write everything that I thought down in, my journal and things like that. But sometimes having the notes in the actual book is fantastic. But this book was very instrumental for me when I started working with otherworld beings. And I'm talking about really diving into the astral plane, because before this book, a lot of my work in the astral realm was with the Fae, which is like, it's different. It's there, but separate from. It's not quite on the same plane. It's like different worlds in the same solar system. You get me? Maybe you get me. Maybe you get me. So, working in my astral temple, which is on the edge of the Fae realm, and it's there because it's on the edge of the Fae realm, and I've worked so much with the Fae over the years, that when I dove into this book and I was like, there are more places to go. It's cliche because it's Celtic Otherworld, but it really did open other worlds up for me. So if you have been following if you work with the Celtic pantheon and have been following Celtic traditions, really do highly recommend this book. Celtic Magic by DJ Conway and Celtic Traditions as well. They're all right. But basically, it's Wicca with Celtic goddesses thrown in. This more lends to the history and myths around what we believe to be the Celtic peoples. The author goes a little bit into their origin, or what we think their origin might be, but obviously we don't know for sure of when and how they came about, because there's not a lot of written history on them prior to a certain date. But he does write what he can. Goes into otherworld gods and goddesses, structure, visualization, Irish mythology mostly. So fantastic, fantastic read. And then lastly, the thing that ate up all of my attention in November. Harry Potter. Okay, so I've had this book for longer than I've had Magic of the Celtic Otherworld. This is the book that I read. When did I start reading this? I started reading Harry Potter. This printing is in 1998. But I'm pretty sure I bought this in 1999. Yeah. Or my mother bought this for me. And it was shortly after my father had passed away. And at that point in time, we were up to the third book, had just come out. So we had Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and it was Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban just came out. And my mom said, you know what, I think you would really like these books. Because at that point in time, I had just kind of semi come out of the broom closet to her. Because it was a very difficult time in all of our lives. It was just me, my mother, and my sister. And we were working through this change. We were working through moving to not only a new home, but a new city in the same state, really in the same county, but it was hard. Different districts and a lot of change there to deal with. And this became not only a friend of mine, but of my mother's as well. I think Harry Potter did wonders for helping facilitate that healing process for our grief. So I know Harry Potter gets a bad rap in our Wiccan, and witchcraft communities because it's like, Harry Potter's not real magic. Okay, yes, we all get it. As much as we would really like to play Quidditch or fly in a broomstick, that's actually not what an actual witch's broom is for. However, this just sucked you in, and you were there, and your friends were Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and you cheered them on, and you got grossly involved, just enveloped into the wizarding world of Harry Potter. And now it kind of had become a tradition because a lot of the movies were coming out during November that me, my sister, and my mother would then go to the midnight showing of all of these movies. So I've got all of the books. I'm looking at them right now. Aside from this one, all of the rest of them are hardback. And for a couple of them, my mother and I were standing in line at Barnes & Noble as the night that they, were releasing them to the public. So Harry Potter is a huge staple in my house. We have all of the movies, and now my kids are showing an interest. I have been reading this book to them at night. And my son, who is just this carbon copy of me, only a boy, my lovely, sensitive, wonderful, amazing son, is really, really getting into Harry Potter. And we watched all of the movies over the weekend. And just as we thought, they kind of started to lose interest after number 4 because the tone gets more adult. It starts to get darker. It's dealing with more adult themes. Whereas this one is still all about magic and learning how to ride a broomstick and, getting over grief and shock of loss to dive into a magical world and just let yourself go. And, my 5-year-old little boy, I think that's exactly where he is right now. And it's just kind of amazing to know how much, I probably read this book. Look at how badly the spine is just torn up. I probably read this half a dozen times during my freshman year. I had just turned 14. I really was lost at that point and still even coming to terms with my belief system. And here this thing was just a comfort blanket. And I'm just seeing my son just like open up to the awe of this world. And it's just been a really surreal experience. So Harry Potter, always, always in November. And now, probably going to be a new family tradition of over the Thanksgiving weekend, doing a movie marathon of all 8 movies. So, had to share. And that's really it, lovelies. This video went on way too long for the few things that I showed you. I hope that you enjoyed it, though. I hope you got something out of it. I would love to hear what your November favorites were and what you've been loving all month and how you're dealing with things and just how you are even. So leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that button for me so that you don't miss out on any future videos from me. And until next time, blessed be.